Hello! Today we're in a different corner of the lab. We're usually over there, but today we are here. And that's because we're going to do some coding at the PC today. I have been wanting to get more into coding for the C64, and today we're having a look at the CC65 compiler, which is a 6502 C compiler, which allows us to program the C64 using C instead of assembly or BASIC. And I think C might be a decent option for ease of use and performance. So the plan is to make a series of videos where I use the CC65 compiler, and today we're getting started by installing the compiler, setting up our tools, and finally running a Hello World program on the C64. So let's get started. So this is the main page for the CC65 C compiler, and as it says, CC65 is a complete cross-development package for 6502 systems, including a powerful macro assembler, a C compiler, linker, librarian, and several other tools. CC65 has C and runtime library support for many of the old 6502 machines, including the following Commodore machines: VIC-20, C64, C128, etc. It also has support for the Apple II, the Atari 6502 based machines, and some other stuff down here. And even the Commodore X16, which is the 8-bit guy's dream computer project. And the webpage has a section for getting started, and it shows you how to clone the source code and build the binaries yourself on Linux, and you can also download a snapshot for Windows. So what I'm doing today, however, is I am going to use WSL2, Windows Subsystem for Linux, with Ubuntu, and that makes it very easy to get started. So all we have to do is just use the inbuilt package manager. So let's do install actually. Sudo apt install and CC65. And that should give you all you need, but as you can see, I've already done that. So CC65 is already to the newest version, which is 2.18-1 for Ubuntu 2004, which I'm running here. As for WSL and Ubuntu, you just have to go to the Microsoft Store and install the Ubuntu distribution, and then you will be able to just launch it, and you're on your way with Linux on top of Windows, which I think is a great way to do this. So that should mean that we can do CC65 and we just get no input files. If we go help, we can have a look at all the options we have available here. Let's go back to the documentation for a bit, because if we have a look here at cc65.github.io/doc, we can see a list of all the programs that comes with the suite of, with the CC65 suite. And you can see that everything is divided into different parts. So the compiler itself is called CC65. The only thing we need to think about right now though is the CL65, and that is a compile and link utility, which means that it basically does everything we need in one operation. So it takes the C source file and it gives us a C64 PRG file. So as you see, the CL65 tool once it can take some options, and then it takes files, and we can just give it an output name, and I think the default, let's see, yeah, so -T sets the target system, But for us, we don't have to specify that because the default system is actually C64. So we just do -O and the name of our output file. We will actually get a PRG file that we can run in the emulator or on an actual C64. When you install CC65 through Ubuntu, you can find all the include headers in user share CC65 include. And if I just ls that, you can see that we have all the relevant headers for 6502 and the other chips and all the different 6502 based systems. The reason that I'm showing this is that it's very useful to be able to reference these from your coding environment, whatever you decide to use, but I will show you how to do that in Visual Studio Code, so we can easily jump to the relevant functions in the header files. If you're using Visual Studio Code like me, you just need to have the C/C++ extension installed. It's an official Microsoft extension, and that allows you to do this command right here, edit configurations. And that is a project specific configuration where you can put extra include paths. So as you can see, I have added the include path for the CC65 headers. So just add the path to the include path array and save the settings. And sometimes you may have to restart Visual Studio Code before it actually works. So let's get started with the actual coding. HAG'S lab, hello world. So let's just do include. We'll do stdio. Let's do age and int main. There we go. Just do the void. And the standard way you output text to the standard output in C is you do printf. So let's just do that, and we do hello world, like that. Maybe like that. I have my Ubuntu terminal down here inside Visual Studio Code just to make everything easy. So we should be able to do CL65 in here. It just need input files. So let's just try and see if we can compile this using the CC65 compiler. So let's do CL65, so we compile and link at the same time. Let's just give it the input file. And let's specify an output file. So we'll do hello.prg. And the default system is going to be the C64, so we don't have to specify that. But if you do compile for some other system, you will have to specify that with the -t option. But I think this is all we need, so let's give it a go. Warning, control reaches end of non-void function. Yeah, so we need to actually return 0, which is the standard way of returning from a program. 0 indicates success. So let's try that again. Oh, there we go. So I should have given us the hello.prg, which it has. That's nice. So the next step is to try this out in an emulator. So this is actually a Commodore 64 emulator written by me in C#. It is not complete by no means, but it does have, it has decent support, and it supports standard character mode and stuff like that, fine. So now we just take the hello world.prg file and we drag it into the emulator, and we'll see what happens. Run hello world. There we go. Let me actually change the color to white so we can see this better. Let's do it like that. Drag the file one more time. There we go. So we can see run hello world ready. So run our program and it just went back to basic. There we have it. That's all you need to actually compile a C program to the C64. Okay, so we are in basic on my C64C, and I'm just gonna press the menu button on my Kung Fu Flash. There we go, we have our hello world program. So I'll just press return on the keyboard, and there we go. So it's a little bit different than it was on the emulator, and that is just because of how the emulator and the cartridge loads the program. So this Kung Fu Flash cartridge obviously clears out the screen before it loads the program. So that will be the end of this video, and we'll continue working with CC65 and improving our Hello World program, and hopefully eventually make something cooler for the C64. Thank you for watching.